And welcome to the Bulloch Sports Report. I'm Josh Aubrey. Plenty to get to in this week's show. As for our area high school football teams, the Statesboro Blue Devils coming off a tough 29-22 loss on the road at Veterans, a game in which they were winning with just over a minute to play, only to see Veterans come back and hit a long bomb there with just over 30 seconds to go to win the game. They're off this week, but we'll talk to Matt Dobson, Statesboro's head coach, about how things are going. As for the Southeast Bulloch Yellow Jackets, 2 weeks ago, they lost to Statesboro. They've had an extra week to prepare. Their region opener coming up this Friday on the road in Savannah as they take on Islands. We'll hear from Southeast Bulloch head coach Jared Zito and a couple players as they get ready and hope to bounce back from that loss. As for the Bulloch Academy Gators, their game with Claxton was scheduled for this past Friday. It was rained out. They are playing again Tuesday night. We'll have some highlights from that game and some words from head coach Aaron Phillips coming up in just a bit. And as for the Portal Panthers, they are coming off their season opening loss to the Bulloch Academy Gators at Paulson Stadium in the Eric Russell Classic. They had last week off, this week back at the Portal Athletic Complex as they'll be welcoming Twiggs County to town. As for the Georgia Southern Eagles, it's finally game week. The Eagles will be opening up the 2025 campaign on the road in California, where they'll be staying for 9 days, starting off coming up this Friday when they fly out, taking on Fresno State, going on Saturday evening, and then they're staying in California for a week as they'll be playing USC coming up the following Saturday. We'll hear from Georgia Southern head coach Clay Helton, athletic director Chris Davis about the trip itself, and a couple of players as they get ready to open up the 2025 campaign. All that and more coming up next on the Bulloch Sports Report. And a reminder before we go to break, hopefully you'll never be in an accident, but if so, please give our friends at the Sullivan Law Firm a call, 912-489-8888, or online at thesullivanlawfirm.com. This segment of the Bulloch Sports Report is brought to you in part by Girard Pre-Owned Vehicles, quality cars, trucks, and SUVs right here in Statesboro, Georgia. Voted best place to buy 10 years running. 2330 Northside Drive West. Well, the Georgia Southern Eagles finally get a chance to square off against another team as they'll open the 2025 season on the road in California, taking on Fresno State. A bit of a challenge for the Eagles. They'll be leaving Friday as they would for a normal road game, flying to Fresno State, where they'll be playing Saturday evening. But after that, they're going to be staying in California for a total of 9 days as they're going to be playing USC the following Saturday. Homecoming of sorts for head coach Clay Helton. We had a chance to talk with athletics director Chris Davis about the challenges for the Eagles in staying this extended amount of time on the road. Chris, obviously you inherited this back-to-back situation with the two games in California. Tell us a little bit about how long you've been working on this. Coach mentioned it, but just a little bit about that and, you know, the logistics of bringing people for the school aspect, setting up the practice facility and all that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we've been working on it. Thanks, Josh. We've been working on our entire football travel when it came to, you know, slating that game against USC for this year, and knowing what we had with the Fresno game, and you know there was that vacancy, and in times past, you know, Jared and myself worked on football games, and you know that was the game that we were able to coordinate, and when that happened, because of the options that weren't there were only so many, and to be able to have that, and we said, okay, well, we got multiple years to plan. And to Clay's earlier comments about, you know, we had 2+ years, it's been 2+ years of planning. And not only that, it's been 2+ years of planning from an operations, but also the financial component and really looking at what's the best options. And so when it came to it, We're taking, one of our, just like we would normally do on a travel road trip, that we have the distance is doing a charter plane. And we'll take a charter plane out on Friday night out to Fresno, just like we would normally. We'd do walkthrough this Friday here in Statesboro, then make our way. When we fly out to Fresno, it'll be like a normal road trip. The only difference, that's when the difference begins. After we play Fresno, instead of flying back, we'll go back to that same hotel, stay at the team hotel on Saturday night, and then wake up on Sunday and make our way to Oxnard, California. And credit a lot of people in this building, especially Matt Hassan, who did over a year and a half ago, I believe, going off memory, went out to California and did a site visit of there, and we worked with the Dallas Cowboys and been able to have the Oxnard, California, that site visit of where the Cowboys do their training camp, and it functions really, really well. There's, from a room standpoint, cafeteria standpoint, as well as also making sure the academic piece, because at the end of the day, they're student athletes, and sometimes people lose that, and we're not losing that. We're bringing academic advisors that work with our football staff, our football student athletes all the time. They'll be out there as well. So we'll treat pretty much the only thing that may happen that coach may do is look at Sunday and Monday a little bit differently. But Sunday through Thursday, it'll be a very normal week where academics in the morning and handling what we do need to academically, and then meetings in the mid-afternoon after lunch, practice in the afternoon period, and then some more study hall in the evening. And so we'll really be able to have that plan Sunday through Thursday, and then Friday we'll wake up in Oxnard, do walkthrough just like we normally would, and then make that transition just like a normal road trip into LA. And we'll be in LA Friday night, and then play the game Saturday, and then like a normal road trip, we'll get on the plane right after the game and fly back to Savannah and then into Statesboro. This is not, we've communicated this, where the bowl games become a little bit where you're adding all these different levels of different things, because that's what bowl games are. There's a fun component, there's a playing component. Like, we're in school. And so we got to keep the main thing. So let's take care of school by day. Let's take care of ball like we normally do. So we may try to have maybe a change of scenery one time with something, but unlike a bowl trip where you have all these different planned activities, it won't look like that. We're in the regular season, and we have all of our young men are in school. So we'll have the student piece and the athlete piece going on while we're out there.
Well, as for the game itself, Georgia Southern was able to scout Fresno State because they played Kansas this past week. They got beat in a pretty lopsided game. We had a chance to talk with head coach Clay Helton about the team's excitement about finally getting the season underway and what he expects from Fresno State.
Excited for this opportunity for our team to go out to California for the first time in our school's history, not only to go to California, but to play a California team in back-to-back weeks. First time since 1984, having 2 away games to open up the season, and it is an awesome opportunity because it's a great trial run for us. We have a very tough and demanding conference away schedule this year with JMU, Marshall, App State, and Arkansas State. So I really can't see a better opportunity, a better way to start the season than to play 2 really good teams from the state of California and go have that test for us. So, yeah, this is my 31st year and being a college football coach, and this is one of the more mature football teams that I've been a part of. This has been a 3-year project, of acquisition of high school football players, growing them up within our culture and our systems, and then retaining them. And what you see is a bunch of 3rd, 4th, 5th-year players that know our systems, understand our standards, our expectations, our culture, and are ready for this season. And that's what I hope I see. As we walk into to week 1, you saw so many games, especially early in the season. It usually happens. Games are not won; they're really lost. You see the critical errors, the penalties, the turnovers, the poor decisions, because so much emotion is going into that opening ball game. And you watched that last week in week 0. The first thing I said to our team yesterday was, I hope everybody noticed that those little things, those critical errors, are what really lost ball games yesterday. And so I hope to see a mature football team that goes out and plays like they have 3, 4, 5 years of experience with us, and excited to watch them play.
Coach, they struggled against the run, and they struggled to run the ball. They gave up over 5 yards a carry They only got like 1.3 yards per carry themselves. EJ was under a lot of duress in that game. Their offensive line struggled. Do you expect some of the same things? Do you game plan seeing some of the things that they struggled with this past week?
Well, you saw the blueprint. Kansas did a really nice job of being able to get, really were first down efficient, first and second down efficient, that caused some third and longs in that game. And that's, stop the run and have some fun on third down. And they did. You saw the opening drive by Kansas where they were able to run the ball. They were able to do their RPO. They were able to stay on pace. And then after that, Kansas did a really nice job on first and second down, keeping them off pace. You saw a bunch of 3rd and 7+ the rest of the game, and that's hard. That's hard at any offense, and having a Kansas defensive front that is really, really stellar. I know they're probably working on, hey, we've got to get to those 3rd and 1 to 3s like we did in that opening drive. That's going to help us, and we've got to do a great job. We saw that against Troy last year. I never forget of being able to, not be first and second down efficient, having a bunch of 3rd and 1 to 3s, and that kept drives alive. And so you saw the blueprint last week with Kansas, and hopefully we can follow that. Anytime that you're playing a staff, Coach Ince has done such a great job as a head coach, proven head coach at North Dakota State, 2 national championships while he was there, being at USC last year, a very high-level coach. But bringing in new coordinators, you kind of like to see, hey, are they keeping the same philosophy that they did at their separate places and where they had a lot of success. So to be able to see and verify kind of what their identity is with their personnel and see personnel matchups, that helps us. What helps them is getting some of those first game jitters out, some of those first game mistakes out. So it's twofold. We get a little bit of help in scouting, and they get a little bit of help of actually playing a game. We know EJ from recruiting him out of high school, a fabulous high school quarterback that obviously has done a tremendous job in college. Anytime you throw for over 8,000 yards, you're doing something right. And you could see that they're coming together as a football team. I thought defensively they played extremely well in the second half against Kansas. 2 turnovers really caused some separation, 24-7 at halftime. But really in that second half, I thought things settled down and they played really good football. Offensively, you can tell they're trying to from a personnel standpoint, trying to see their strengths and their area of growth. You can see the playmakers across the field, and then you got EJ who can make any throw on the field. Made some unbelievable third down completions under duress. So was impressed with them going against a Kansas team that probably will end up being a top 25 team in the end and holding their own.
Well, as for the players, they're excited about the opportunity to go out to California and play a couple games out there. Really excited about the Fresno State game. First of all, we had a chance to talk with Josh Dallas, the Eagle receiver on the offensive side of the ball, and then Jacob Ferguson representing the Eagle defense, talking about the challenges of playing E.J. Warner at quarterback and the Fresno offense. Josh, first of all, from a logistics standpoint, we've talked to Coach about this. I'm sure you guys are really excited about going out to California. It's going to be the first time in Georgia Southern history that the team's been out at the same place for a couple of weeks. How are you feeling about this as a player, as far as, the studying, where you're going to be practicing? You won't have, Paulson to practice at, which is going to be a little strange, I would imagine, for you for a whole week.
Yes, sir. So first of all, I'm extremely excited. It's been an awesome all-season with all the guys, with the staff. Man, we've got a really good team. And I've said this a handful of times, but really is important. The feel right now in the locker room is like a high school football locker room. The way that the guys love each other, the all-season we've put together, and it's been really exciting. The next piece of that is this first week that we get to go out in California for over a week together. Man, I'm just telling you how tight the group can get together over a week in a hotel together is going to be huge. I think about how important a bowl game week is when you get to go for a handful of days and how tight everybody feels after a week of being together. We get that at the beginning of the season, so I think it's invaluable. I think it's going to be really good for this team, really good for this staff, and it's going to be a great way to kick off the year. It's going to be a really fun week all the way around. One thing about the staff is, man, they're really respected. The defensive coordinator just came from NIU. At one point, they were ranked number 3 in the country. So, man, we've got the utmost respect for them, the players on that field. And at the same time, we trust Coach App with the offensive game plan, Coach Bailey with the defensive game plan, and Coach Helton really to push all of this together. And then the special team side of things, too. Man, Coach Wilson's done a great job, and we've loved having him, too. So all the way around, it's going to be 2 great opponents, and we're going to have a great week. So, yes, they got the first game kind of out of the way. You know, you have some of those things that you have to work through a first game. But at the same time, we get to watch them a week ahead. So I think you have the both sides of it, and I think Coach Helton put it exactly right. And that's what I was thinking before I even heard him say that. But it is true. There's the positives and negatives of both sides of it.
Jacob, can you tell us a little bit about your thoughts on being able to go to California, stay there for almost 10 days or so, get to practice in the place where the Cowboys are, staying there for that long? How's it for you going into this?
Yes, definitely. Great question. So personally, I haven't been to California, so I'm excited about that part in itself. Being able to practice in the Cowboys facility would be a great opportunity. And as far as the situation of being there for how long we're going to be there, I think it's a great opportunity to be able to put our culture on display. That's being tough, that's being disciplined, that's being united. And I really think the united part is the biggest part about that we'll see grow on that trip in California. There for 9 days, I believe. So yeah, I'm just really excited to get out there with the guys and get the ball rolling. I'm definitely really confident about our communication. Like guys being in the right place, them doing their job, and the trust that we built, and that comes with the camaraderie that's happened off the field, and we be able to see that on the field. Me trusting completely that the guy next to me is going to do his 111 to the best of his ability instills in me the confidence to do my job to the best of my ability, and that goes down from just the first string guys to the second string guys down to even the third string guys, and that starts from top to bottom. So Coach Sid, Coach Bailey, they've done a really good job recruiting guys from high school, as Josh said, on the offensive side of the ball, and the transfer portal. And we got some guys that fill in some big shoes, and they've been able to step up and be who we need them to be. So when I watch Fresno State, I think they have really good players. That's the first thing I saw. To get their first game jitters out, and that's a really good advantage that they had, obviously for us, watching them play and having the film. But that quarterback, he can sling it. He's going to put the ball where it needs to be, so we're going to have to bring pressure to him early and often. And they took themselves to KU and played a really, really good team. That KU team's something serious. So to be able to do that and be able to see them do that, I think we're going to have to be on our A game when we go down there.
Well, as for the Georgia Southern volleyball team, they held an exhibition, the first ever volleyball game taking place at Enmarket Arena in Savannah as they were taking on South Carolina Gamecocks. We had a chance to talk with the Eagles head coach, Chad Willis, about how he felt the environment was and how he feels that will help springboard the Eagles into this season.
Just an incredible night for our team, all of Eagle Nation, 1,000 plus strong, and what an incredible environment, atmosphere, electric from the first set all the way through the fifth. Just a great opportunity for our team to come out and showcase where we are to start this 25 season. Thought we did a lot of really great things against a quality SEC opponent in South Carolina. Ended up getting the match sweep, but then also 1 set 4 before losing a really tight fifth set, and got everybody involved, which was great to see, and super excited about the depth that we have on this roster, and how we're going to be able to carry this win and that energy from a match like that into the start of our season. Yeah, really looking forward to the schedule we have ahead of us. We tried to design our non-conference schedule to really put us in a position to be a top 30 program. So when we're looking, at a possible at-large if needed, but ultimately too to prepare us for the start of Sun Belt play. We feel like the East Division, it's a grind. We know it's going to be tough. We know we've got a big target on our back after the preseason #1 pick, but we feel like the schedule as a whole is shaping out really nicely for us, and just really excited to start the journey with this group and see what comes from it. So we're excited to announce we've opened up 912 Volleyball Academy, which is going to serve as a local sports club just for the Statesboro and surrounding communities, opportunity for them to get training from our staff and our student athletes, and hopefully continue to build the sport of volleyball at a grassroots level in the elementary and middle school program, specifically here in Bulloch County. But then, hopefully that ties into the visibility of our program and the things that we're doing. We go see a lot of familiar faces out there that are in the stands every weekend rooting on our team. team. So now to give them an opportunity to come be coached by our student athletes, it's just a great thing for the community. Go to 912volleyball.com. That's our website, and there's more information there. And we'll start launching some teams and tryouts here coming up in September, and then play the season in the spring.
All right, stay with us. Coming up next, we'll check in with our area high school football teams. The Bulloch Sports Report is brought to you in part by Pope Construction, building opportunities for the future. Well, the Statesboro Blue Devils coming off a tough loss on the road at Veterans. They had a couple of punts blocked, didn't play the cleanest of games, and then actually took a 22-21 lead with just over a minute to go before unfortunately vanquishing that lead with 38 seconds to go as Veterans, the Warhawks, were able to complete a long bomb for a touchdown, and they end up winning that one 29-22. We had a chance to talk with head coach of the Blue Devils, Matt Dobson, about his thoughts on the game itself and then where the Blue Devils go from here as they have a week off before opening region play at home against Greenbrier. Here with Statesboro High head coach Matt Dobson. And coach, coming off a tough loss, you had the lead with about a minute left in the game and then weren't able to hold on to it. What's the feelings around here right now, and how do you feel about that game in general?
Yeah, obviously, we hate to lose. I think, any competitor hates to lose. And so, that's the feeling around here is everybody's, mad and not happy about it. But there's a lot of things to look at from the game and find positives in. I think the first thing you look at is just the resiliency of our guys. They battled back. Definitely know they did not play their best game. Played poor in a lot of areas and did a lot of things wrong with some just execution. But a lot of positives to look back on. You compare this to some previous losses in years past, and in years past maybe we lacked some physicality or lacked some effort. That was not the case at all on Friday night. The physicality was there and the effort was there. Just got to clean up some execution things.
So you got a couple weeks before you open up region play. What's the plan for the next week to 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think this week we're gonna practice 4 days and maybe get to spend a little bit more time focusing on some JV and ninth grade teams. We open up our schedules this week with JV and ninth grade, and so get to help get them a little bit more time this week where we're not having to prepare, specifically for a Friday night opponent. So that's going to be beneficial. Getting some guys healed up is beneficial. I think anytime you have a bye week, the part that you got to balance is you got to stay. The physicality of the game and the speed of the game. So you got to do some good competition, good versus good, but also trying to find a way to make sure you stay healthy. So that's going to be the balance this week is making sure we're physical and playing at a high speed, but also getting some guys healthy. And then we will get a jump start on Greenbrier. They're off this upcoming Friday night as well. And so we got all the film we're going to get on them and getting that stuff broke down and getting a good game plan ready for sure.
The Bulloch Sports Report is brought to you in part thanks to Morris Bank, the proud sponsor of our Player of the Week segment. Well, for the Southeast Bulloch Yellow Jackets, they're looking to rebound from their season opening loss to Statesboro. They had an extra week off to kind of go over some of the mistakes that they made against the Blue Devils as they open up region play coming up this Friday on the road in Savannah against Islands. We had a chance to talk with Southeast Bulloch head coach Jared Zito, as well as defensive back Jacqueline Wells and offensive lineman Daniel Schumann. Here with Southeast Bulloch head coach Jared Zito. And coach, you've had an extra week. 2 weeks ago you played Statesboro, came up on the losing end there. What's been happening over the next 2 weeks to kind of get you ready for the Islands region open?
Well, first you try to watch the Statesboro film and correct as many things as you can. I mean, the film never lies. So that was the first thing we started doing, and then you just carried back on. I mean, with your plan for Islands, just like we normally would. It actually was great timing for us to have an off week. We had a lot of sickness in our program. A lot of kids got sick. I was out for 3 days, had another assistant out for a couple days. And so, man, we said if we had to play last Friday, we'd have been in a little bit of trouble. But I think all that kind of came through our program and back out the back door. And so today I think everybody's healthy, and we're ready to get ready for Friday night.
What's the game plan for Islands?
Well, I mean, we got to just, we don't recreate anything, right? We got to get better at what we're doing. And the game is always about execution. And everybody says that. And the reality, what does execution mean? Doing what you're coached to do, play by play through a whole game. And that's what I really want to see us do Friday. Obviously, we want to win a football game. It's a region game. The bigger picture for me is I want us to play better, play like we've practiced. We had so many good practices leading up to Statesboro, and not to put any of that really on the field was probably the most disappointing part, not only for me but for our team. And so and have to sit with that for 2 weeks was tough. And so we finally get a chance to get that bad taste out of our mouth on Friday and hopefully get a big region win.
All right, we're here with defensive back for Southeast Bulloch, Jacalyn Wells. And Jacalyn, been a couple weeks since that Statesboro game. How are y'all feeling now, and what kind of things have you been working on?
We're feeling good. We've been working on what we had some trouble at in that game, a little bit of mental errors. Been working hard at that, paying attention to the small details. Yeah.
How do you feel about the defense, and where do you feel like the strengths are right now?
Well, it's gonna sound biased, but probably I think our strength is in the secondary, and I feel like we got a strong defense though all around. We run to the ball, play hard, play physical.
You got Islands opening up region play. Important for you guys to pull out a win there on the road. What do you expect out of Islands? What do you think you need to do?
Well, we expect a lot more from us. Don't turn the ball over. Really more expecting to win. Had a tough loss against Statesboro. Just want to come out and play harder, get our first victory of the season, start off good.
I'm here with Daniel Schumann, lineman for Southeast Bulloch. And Daniel, it's been a couple weeks since the Statesboro loss. How are you guys feeling, and what have you been working on?
I feel like we've been working on a little bit of everything. I know that loss made us feel a little bit more hungrier now. Know what we have to fix and get what needs to be done.
Coach said a lot of the mistakes were mental mistakes. What do you guys do to shore that kind of stuff up?
We just have to keep doing it over and over again, and eventually we'll get it right. Get ready for Friday against Islands.
So you got Islands. You open up region play. What do you know about them? What do you expect on Friday night?
Well, I expect a lot out of us after that loss. I feel like we need to be more as a team and come together better and play better.
PJ's Country Store is proud to support all Bulloch County and surrounding area athletics. We've been fueling up for almost 20 years, with 3 locations in Statesboro and locations in Sylvania, Wadley, and Bagsley. PJ's Country Stores is the real MVP. And a special shout out to our Bulloch Academy Gators. Go get them.
Well, for the Bulloch Academy Gators, their game with Claxton was rained out this past Friday. They got together. Both of them had this Friday off, so they decided to play Tuesday night football here in Bulloch County. I'll send you out for some highlights from the Gators taking on the Claxton Tigers. The Bulloch Academy Gators in their home opener as they were hosting Claxton from a game that was previously rained out, playing on Tuesday evening, and Sam Hubbard starts things off with a nice run around the left side for 27 yards. That would help lead to this. The give to Rocco Reese, and he fights his way in for the touchdown, and the Gators take a 7-0 lead. Claxton having their trouble on special teams. This one bounces into the end zone, and the Gators eventually take over inside the 20, and they quickly make this turn into points as the give is to Danye Garvin. He's in for the score, and it's 14-0. We move ahead to the second quarter, and more from the Gators. This time Sam Hubbard going to the air. The ball tipped into the waiting arms of Rocco Reese. A few plays later, the give to Garvin again. He's in for another touchdown. The Gators go up by a score of 20-0. The defense taking over from there. Jack Lanier with the hit for a loss. And then back on offense, Hubbard around the right side for the 16-yard score. Bulloch Academy goes into the half with a 27-0 lead. Third quarter, more of the same. First, it's Tyler Perry fighting his way ahead for a first down. This would help lead to another touchdown as Sam Hubbard rolls left, and he finds Billy Kreider in the end zone. A nice grab. And then the defense trying to help put things away. Braylon Cone coming up with the hit here for a loss. And then finally, J.B. Roach in at quarterback. He'll help run out the clock as the Gators improve to 2-0, winning by a final of 34-0. And another reminder, the Portal Panthers will be hosting Twiggs County, the only game going on here in Bulloch County. Coming up Friday night, that game taking place at 7:30 at the Portal Athletic Complex. We thank you for joining us. Hope to see you again next week.